Hello everyone and welcome to another Dark Souls 3 Invasion build video. I'm still hanging around in the forest, having a blast, fighting some ganks, fighting some co-opers, doing some dueling. Been having an absolute fucking whale of a time here. Been so much fun over the last few days, especially since all the Christmas noobs have been flooding into the game. It's been really active. There's been almost no waiting for invasions and fights. Absolutely fantastic. So I was messing around with the build you saw in the last couple of videos. I've been messing around with that, trying out different weapon combinations and trying to find things that work, things that don't work. But I've come up with this build. I had to adjust the stats slightly, and it's a fucking monster. And it's basically me trying to brute force a way to deal with mega twinks that infest the forest, and you get so many of them. You know how it is in forest twinks. They all play the same way. They're super aggressive with the Dragon Slayer axe and parry spam. Really nasty ganks. They got really high absorbance and defense. And so there's a very limited pool of options of what you can do to deal with those kinds of people. And I think I've come up with a good solution. So let me show you the build, and I'll get into the fights. So what I'm running at the moment is a low-level Ultra Great Sword build, which is quite unconventional, really, for this kind of level. I mean, I'm still level 33 for crying out loud, and I'm using a fucking Ultra Great, so I've kind of hobbled myself in that way. But although I've got a low stamina pool, and I'm wielding this thing, the benefits of using this Ultra Great Sword, in particular the Lothric Ultra Great Sword, is fucking amazing. So let me run you through it. So, I've got the Lothric Knight Ultra Great Sword in my main hand, and you can two-hand that to get the big damage. Off-handing the Irithel Rapier, I was going with the offhand Irithel Straight Sword, but the Rapier complements the Great Sword a lot better than the Straight Sword does. They both work, but I'm enjoying the Rapier a lot more. So, I've got just enough poise here from my equipment to get me up to 19.22, which is enough for one-handed Great Swords, halberds and glaives and that kind of stuff. Can't poise through two-handed greatswords yet. I would have to min-max a bit more to try and up my poise, but this is plenty good enough. So I've got Prisoner's Chain, FAP, Hunter's Ring and Knight's Ring pretty much on permanently. You can take the Knight Ring off and you can still two-hand the thing, but obviously for the mix-up you're going to want both of these weapons available to you at the same time, so you're going to be wanting to keep the Knight Ring on almost permanently. So the stats, I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. There's a few points I could probably shave off here and there if I'd chosen a different starting class. I've got 28 Vigor, which is kind of the minimum you should be aiming for this level. 22 Endurance, 21 Vitality, bumped up by the Prisoner's Chain. 24 Strength and 17 Dexterity, which are bumped up by these two rings, and then Base Intelligence, Faith and Luck. So the meat of the build is the Lothric Ultra Great Sword. So unbuffed and two-handed, I'm getting an AR of 408. So we hit it with the Gold Pine Bundle, and now we have an AR of 528. And so bear in mind we're at +4 weapons at Soul level 33. That thing hits like a fucking truck, and that's one of the big problems that I wanted to overcome when it came to fighting twinks and gankers at this area. There's very little way you can punish parry spammers and punish chuggers excuse me, at this level, because your damage is so fucking low. However, you buff this up and you hit them with 2 R1s, you're going to be doing nearly 600 damage with this fucking thing. So I don't care how much Estus you have and what upgrade level it is, this thing is going to fucking hurt. Even the running attack, I've seen it do between 200 to 300 AR, depending on, obviously, what the person is wearing. That fucking hurts. And obviously you can't parry this thing when it's two-handed, and even if you're one-handing it and they go for the parry, the whiff is going to fucking hurt them. And it's brilliant. And you see all these sort of try-hard Twinkie guys with their parry thing has gone out the window. They can't brute force a parry onto this thing, so they just end up getting chewed apart by it, and they, you know, Rapier for the roll catches. Fucking brilliant. Excellent fun build. Right, Right, let's showcase some invasions and some fights, and I will explain to you sort of my inspiration for this build. So this first fight is against a couple of fishermen, and the one thing that when you're running an Ultra Great sword build that you need to watch out for is competent fishermen. So this was an interesting fight, and some interesting challenges to overcome from some players who obviously knew what they were doing. So the inspiration really behind doing this build, I've been watching, I know many of you would have heard of G9, really excellent duelist and sort of Dark Souls tournament player, as it were, and he has been doing, you know, high-level dueling with an Ultra Great Sword, and he did an Ultra Great Sword tutorial video where he says not only are Ultra Great Swords viable in 1v1s, but they also can stand up in competitive play, which is really an amazing breath of fresh air, given that previous generations of tryhards from this game have shat all over Ultra Great Swords and said they're not viable, and that any player with half a brain will be able to counter it. Which, in some situations, I can understand where they're coming from, but the way G9 did his tutorial video was very insightful, and it gave a lot of excellent pointers on how you can improve your Ultra Great Sword play. I took a lot away from that, but then I've tried to also incorporate a little bit of my own sort of way of playing the game to try and spice up the gameplay and the fights. So I went with he does suggest an offhand quick weapon. I think to do a build solely around the Ultra Great Sword and not using anything else would be very difficult. Getting that last hit in with an Ultra Great Sword is difficult enough, and if you're running on low health, if say you're dueling, one of your main strings in your bow, being able to trade, has basically gone out the window because you can't trade, because you know, one more hit and you're dead. So that's a unique challenge you need to overcome, and having the rapier in the offhand, it's quick and it's laser precision. That really complements the Ultra Great Sword nicely. You see these guys here, the guy who's password summoned is either practicing his fishing or he's just wanting to meme on people and kill all the Christmas news. So I'm well aware of what this guy is trying to do. Like the first sort of half a minute of fighting him, I knew exactly what he was going for. And the thing is, with these kinds of players, he very much gets tunnel vision. I mean, if all you're wanting to do is practice your fishes and stuff, then you know it's fine, and you're not interested about winning or losing, that's fine. But since I knew what he was doing, I know exactly what you need to do to counter it, and that is you just don't press your aggression. Like, and don't swing more than once with the Ultra Great Sword, because that's fucking one-way ticket to one-shot backstab. And you don't, you know, chase after him, because that's one way to get pivot stabbed. So once I understood what he was doing, I was able to counter it, and his game plan kind of goes out the window, really. I thought we were having a nice duel there, and he goes chugs. That's fine. It's a bit frustrating when this happens, or at least it used to be, because everyone's damage was so low, and it was just like, oh, we've got to go through all fucking 7 Estus now. But with the big damage of the Ultra Great Sword, it's not such a big problem. Like, I can sort of rinse through his Estus reasonably quickly, even a good player like this. Look at that damage though, that's just bloody brilliant. I'll tell you what, the running attack is a very good mix-up for a chase down. So you can go with the pokes for the rapier, and you'll try and dodge that, and then you go straight into the running attack. Fucking excellent. So I was quite pleased with myself with that kill, actually. I wasn't expecting to come out of that one alive, considering he seemed like a fairly competent fisherman. I think that his host, who I think is a regular in the forest, I've seen this person around a fair few times, I think that tilts her. Like, I don't think she knows quite what to do. Get a nice roll punish backstab on that one. I would try and lie and say that was intentional, but that was completely on accident. Just look at the damage. It's just, I mean, I know she wasn't wearing decent armor and stuff, but even still, that's fucking... Well, I've been using it for a few days now, and it just blows me away how quickly you can dismantle people. So a lot of the fights I was having in the forest, some of the better fights that I had were just the 1v1 dueling. There was a lot of impromptu fight clubs going on, which I was quite pleased about. It's people who would like pop the dried finger and they would just summon people in, and you just hang around, and you know, blues and watchdogs and other reds will get summoned. You'd all just fight together, doing little 1v1 duels and stuff. It's been fun. I don't mind that kind of setup. I dislike it when you're forced to 1v1 duel the host with his 30% health and all that stuff, but you know, having to fight other phantoms and invaders and stuff in a kind of impromptu fight club, I don't have any problem with that. And it's nice to try and practice my dueling chops with this setup. I've been trying to keep in mind all the things that G9 said in his tutorial video, and you get up into their faces, you push the sword in their face, and you try and force the panic rolls by using mix-ups with the rapier, the R2, the R1, and the rolling R1. And it's weird because I used to use Ultra Great swords, you know, a very long time ago. Like back when I first started invading, I was using like the Zweihander and stuff, and I was very quick to, you know, go for the rolling R1 because it was very good attack, very quick, with a great deal of reach and stuff. But you know, you get parried a million times by it. Eventually, you break yourself of the habit of using that attack. And I've been trying to get back into using it, and it's fucking difficult to force myself to get into the habit of it because I never use rolling attacks with any fucking weapon. But yeah, it's difficult to aim it as well. You don't want to be fiddling around with the right stick when you're doing your rolling attacks, because any slight nudge of the stick and you'll whiff your attack, which is fucking not good. See, this guy was fairly good. He was doing some reverse rolls, so I just wanted to show him that I could reverse roll too. The reverse rolls in this game are flashy and stuff, but they don't have, unlike in Dark Souls 1, they're not all that practical. You see, I'm still getting into the habit of trying not to swing twice, and the way that I've been trying to do it is if you swing and you know that you're going to miss because they've just walked out of your range, you just pivot your swing around and you swing behind you, because then if they try and space you out and whiff punish you, they might just have spaced that wrong because you've moved your body away from them, so they might miss the whiff punish. You see, the rapier comes in clutch here because normally it'd be very difficult to hit this kind of person, this kind of player, just with the Ultra Great Sword. So having the mix-up and just the quick fucking jabs, it's very difficult to reaction parry, very difficult to prediction parry. That fucking plough was the bane of my existence. I've died so many times to that bloody weapon. The reach on that thing is just bonkers. See, now he's trying to poke me out, and I'm in a difficult position because I can't really trade very much. So he gets me one more poke there, and all he's got to do is just jab me one more time. Boom. Right in the face. Fortunately, we were on a good connection, so I was able to get my kill. GG that guy, he was pretty good. So this is just some more do's and don'ts of the Ultra Great Sword. Couldn't get the wrong catch. Yeah, so if you say you queue up an R1 by accident, just pivot your body around and whiff the R1 in the wrong direction. Just look at that damage. Donkulous. Yeah, you get fished a hell of a lot with this build. I've been mucking around with the Dragon Scale Ring, which reduces backstab damage, and it's pretty good. I think you get like a third of the damage gets reduced. I thought I was going to get the kill there. With the good reach of the Lothric Ultra Great sword, it's fairly easy to space people out. Now this was a fairly funny one. The guy who's hosting, he's a regular in the forest, and I've been in I've been in his world a bunch of times, and you know, slaughtering blues and other watchdogs and reds and stuff. It's been good fun. This was a very interesting moment actually. So I just wanted to have this little clip in with the blue. It was a pretty unremarkable fight, but it was just to show that I was fighting this blue, and he chugged first. So you know, okay, fine. And eventually I will chug because he gets me down. And then one of the phantoms that's in the world is a white. He's a summoned white. He seems to get a vendetta against me. I don't know whether he didn't see the blue chugging, and he thought that I was not being honourable. But he ends up getting like some sort of blood boner for me. See, I chugged there, and then all of a sudden, White is like, no, don't like you anymore. We're going to be attacking you. Which is weird because the host in this world, I've been in this world a bunch of times, and he's very chill, and he's quite happy to let me go and do my thing and, you know, wreck fools. But this guy didn't seem interested in what I was selling. Up with the Ultra Great Sword and the Rapier. See that the punish with the running R1, it's not to be sneezed at, and it's really not something that you should be taking lightly. Good job. So, you know, this goes on, I fight a few more people, and eventually this guy gets summoned back, so obviously he's a friend of the host. And no friendly gestures. No, he's pissed now. He just wants to kill me. Yeah, so using the R2s as bait. Well, you whiff your R2 purposely to act as a bait to try and get them to try and space you, so you can then space their whiff punishes. Some lovely mind games that go on when using this kind of setup. Then boys. Yep, and the rapier for the roll catch. And he gets summoned again for the third time. He's changed his setup now, so he's got Lucy. You see a fair amount of Lucy builds actually in the forest. Now that I've been here a little while, you see a fair few. It's the true combo. When it's buffed, you can do a fuck ton of damage with that thing. See, ordinarily I have a lot of trouble fighting those kinds of weapons, the glaives, and in fact, because I normally have such problems, I actually made a build at level 70, which I'll showcase another time, using one of the glaive weapons, so I can get used to fighting it, so I know its weaknesses. And one of its biggest weaknesses is poise. It does good poise damage, but it's got shit hyper armor, so even with my meager 20 poise, you can just shut that shit right down. Okay, so he gets summoned again, and he's changed his build to DMB Claymore, and he does manage to get me down. I thought I was being able to space those running attacks, but apparently I couldn't. So GG, mate. Now this was an invasion, actually. See that guy there, that red, that sticky bandit. I didn't recognise him at the time, but I see his PSN ID later, and I was like, ooh, you know, it's obviously he's waiting for honourable jewels by the bonfire, registered trademark. So I was like, okay, well I'll fucking wade in with that. And you do not feel bad for this host. Do not feel bad for him, because in the clip preceding this one, you will find out that all he's doing is he's trying to prepare for his gank. So he deserves no sympathy. And this was quite an entertaining fight, and you can see for yourself how much damage you can put out and how much pressure you can surprisingly put on other people using a plucking Ultra Great Sword. It's bloody insane. In fact, the Lorians that he's using is another good choice for Ultra Great Swords at this level because of the flame buff on it. You're able to push out a great deal of damage. I don't know how it compares to the Lothric though, and it looks like shite as well. It's a shitty weapon. The Lothric is much more stylish. See, look, 200 damage on the unbuffed running attack. It's bloody good. So yeah, this was a fairly old piece of footage, a couple of days old, where I was still using the Lothric Straight Sword. I don't know what it is. I much prefer the rapier in the offhand for this build. I think it's because everyone knows the straight sword moveset and everyone is aware of its, how people play with the straight sword and its timing, so it's easier to dodge, easier to space out. But yeah, I wasn't having too much fun with the Lothric Straight Sword in the offhand. And Sticky's dealt with the blue for me. Bless your heart. Get fucking launched. And dead. Yeah, I saw his username there. I was like, oh, Sticky, yay! Unfortunately, I haven't been able to have an invasion with him yet. I haven't been in another invasion. We haven't fought together. Hopefully soon. So this is the same guy, and now he's got his password summoned over-level Phantom with him. And you could be mistaken right now, but thinking, oh, but they're just, going through the level and ready to try and progress the game. But they're not. They are preparing for their gank. Just clearing out the level beforehand. Bye-bye, piss bro. And it's this guy, this red is the guy I fought in that match earlier. And again, this is older footage, so this fight came first, and then there was that other fight with that red. But this, I don't know, he's trying to be honor brew, and he was like, no, you must not fight the host when he's dealing with the PvE. It's like, you saw he had a password summon Phantom, and he's summoning blues, like, let me kill him, please. Let me use the enemies, please. Fucking weird. I mean, I'm all for 1v1s, and, if it's a solo host, and there's no other Phantoms there, and, you as an invader, you should be able to deal with a host 1v1. I stand by that. And like, ganking a poor newbie host with all PvE, that doesn't benefit no one gets anything from that. But this guy obviously isn't a newbie host because he's got all this sort of late game stuff, and he had an over-leveled Phantom and he's summoning blues, so he gets whatever the fuck comes to him, in my mind. So I'm like, I've had enough of this guy now. I'm like, right, you can fuck off, mate. Like, if you're not going to help me, just piss off, will you? Again, see, you can see he's trying to fish me by rolling into me. Again, you fuck up in front of that buffed Ultra Great Sword, and you're going down. Summoning, yeah. So he's bringing his Phantom back. Yeah, I think the running attack is probably my favourite move on this Ultra Great Sword. Actually, you don't want to be throwing it out indiscriminately because it's one of those attacks that puts you in a very vulnerable position. Puts your back very exposed against a competent fisherman. But chasing people down who obviously aren't looking at you and aren't trying to reaction roll you, you can do serious damage and put some serious pressure on using it. Highly recommend it, and you can use it as part of like a pseudo combo, so you do sort of the L2s with the rapier and the offhand, and then you'll see them try and roll away, and you immediately go into the running attack. So they're pretty pissed off at me now, so I'm like, okay, fine. Another blue gets summoned, but this blue is AFK, naturally. I tell you what, it's been so weird. Like I said, because of all the Christmas noobs coming in, I've been so used to everyone leveling vigor to like 40 by the time they've reached the forest or something ridiculous, that when you come across someone who's only got like 15 vigor or something, and you can fucking see, give me the point down there, when you come across someone with 15 vigor, and you can like two-shot them with the buff Lothric Ultra Great sword, it's just like, people actually used to play this way, and it just reminded me so much of like the game's release, and it gets you quite nostalgic because I was just wiping the floor with these poor fuckers. They weren't really the people I was there to fight. I'm here to fight the gankers and to fight the other twinks and stuff. But obviously I'm going to give everyone a good going over with the sword. It's just, you see all the noobs just getting crushed beneath this thing. It makes you very nostalgic. See, that wasn't just me showboating there. Doing the L1 wiggling, I'm trying to force the panic roll so you can catch them with the running attack there. That wasn't just me showing off. I suppose the thing that goes along with all the hosts being newbies and crap, it means all the watchdogs are now just dog shit, and they're just like lambs to a slaughter to these kinds of people. That like, you haven't leveled up your vigor, you've got no Estus, and they just get absolutely steamrolled by these gang squads. It makes your job a hell of a lot harder when you're trying to deal with this kind of shit, when invaders are just melting beneath these people. And then the XL comes in with the clutch kill. GG XL. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to have more clips later. I will see you again.